Atlanta's very own The Carter Center is calling on Americans to think twice before potentially posting false information. 11 Alive's Naima Abdullahi joins us live in Atlanta with more on the center's commitment to democracy. Naima.
The Carter Center is not only urging the presidential candidates to remain calm, but also voters in Atlanta, Georgia, and nationwide. And not only that, but to also make sure that they're not sharing misinformation. This is the first U.S. presidential election the Carter Center is engaging in a formal way. The Carter Center was founded in 1982 by former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind in partnership with Emory University to promote human rights, conflict resolution, health, and democracy for all.
It's important for there to be open communication, open dialogue, and to focus on real facts and trusted information.
David Carroll, director of the Carter Center's democracy program, says the time is now, with tensions high and communities politically divided, to promote calmness both in the White House and in any house throughout the United States.
People are exposed to a lot more disinformation. Social media, while we have that great ability, anybody can connect to anybody about any issue, it really brings with it a lot of bad information.
The Carter Center has monitored elections in developing countries, and now here in the United States, the center has been working to build confidence in the election process by gathering public information and talking with election officials to address voter concerns.
The importance of transparency and clarity about basic information and about trusted sources in elections, and again, how that can reinforce a healthier dialogue.
David Carroll hopes the Carter Center can serve as a beacon of hope, the way it always has with Jimmy and Rosalind Carter's continued efforts to bring humanity together during tough times.
That does help differentiate the Carter Center from many other organizations, and that there is this much broader engagement on things that can really bring people together.
As the Carter Center helps with transparency and also public information in this election cycle, they're also telling me that they do not specifically endorse a political party or a politician, that they are a nonpartisan organization. Back to you.
Naima Abdullahi in downtown Atlanta tonight.